Sai Rams, to everyone present here. A very warm welcome to our friends from the Greensboro community, our brothers and sisters from Raleigh, Charlotte, and other parts of the city and the state and the country as well today. I'm reminded of our ex-president, Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, when Swami invited him to be the chief guest of the inauguration of the super specialty hospital in Vrindavan. He was 4 hours late. Swami was waiting patiently, but he had the humility at the end of the wait that he made Swami do, to go up on the stage and say, I know for certain that none of you here have come to see me. You've all been waiting to see Swami. I'm reminded, of course, we have invited you, we have extended our warm welcome, but you all have been here to enjoy Swami's presence, to enjoy that divine program that we have put together today. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Region 3 leadership team for encouraging us and for guiding us to do more such programs in unison and to come together. Thank you, Vinny, thank you, Subbu, Abhay, and 3 of you are here today. It's also a great good fortune to have Sister Auntie Geetha Mohanram with us today. All of us know how popular Auntie is, that goes without saying, but also how busy she is. It's almost our privilege we consider that you are available this weekend. She literally is not available any other weekend in the near future. Thank you for accepting to be with us today. Also want to take this occasion to remind ourselves and everyone that the health crisis that we have had in the last few years have put us on the back burner to come and meet together like this. And this is an occasion that we are coming together after 3 long years. Swami, thank you for allowing us to do it once again in your presence. Also take this opportunity to let everyone know that our center marks the 32nd year of its existence today, and it takes a lot of elders and a lot of persistence of many families to keep it together for a team this long. Thank you, Shastri Auntie, and so worth remembering Ayar Uncle, who is not with us, and Sita Auntie, who is not with us as well in her physical presence. I'm reminded of something that Swami said many years ago. A group of boys in the hostel in Puttaparthi were very proud of themselves of having started an initiative that as 14, 15-year-olds that they have taken upon themselves to start a bhajan inside of their hostel room all by themselves. Imagine a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old that have not been told to pray, and here he or she is praying, and then, of course they're so proud of it. And having had access to Swami, they also took the opportunity to take it to Swami. Swami, we want to tell you something that we think you'll be very proud of. So this is time for them to get credit. So they go up to Swami, and Swami didn't seem too excited in his reciprocation after listening to this news. And then the boys pestered Swami, Swami, why are you not happy with our offering? And Swami said, I would be even more happier. I'm happy, and I would be even more happier if you came together as a hostel. And then Swami took the opportunity to teach a great lesson. He said, Vyashti makes me happy, Samishti makes me very happy, and if your Samishti can reach Parameshti, that will make me blissful. And thank you, Swami, for giving us an opportunity to come together in your name once again. And thank you everyone for being here, and we'll start today's proceedings with Vedam chanting. Sai Ram.
Oh On this auspicious occasion of the Bhagwan's 82nd Avatar Declaration Day celebrations, we are honored and privileged to have our Geetha Ram auntie with us to share the beautiful divine experiences. She is well known to all of us in the Sai community and doesn't need to be introduced. Yeah. However, I'll try to give a brief introduction about auntie for the brothers and sisters who are new to the Sai family. Geetha Garu was born into the family of devotees who first recognized Swami's divinity in 1943. Since then, 4 generations of her family have remained at his lotus feet. Her father, Dr. Padmanabhan Garu, a renowned dental surgeon, served Swami in various organizational capacities for decades and is well known as the person who walked behind Swami during darshan in Whitefield. Her mother, Kamala Padmanabhan Garu, part of the original group that developed the first Balvikas curriculum under the direction of Bhagwan himself, and was subsequently appointed by Swami to be the SSC coordinator for Karnataka state in India, a post in which she served with distinction for 25 years. Geetha Garu has had the incredible fortune of growing up in the shadow of our Divine Lord since birth, enjoying and experiencing his divinity and multi-faceted personality during Bhagwan's frequent visits to their family home and the family's lengthy visits to his ashramams. At the tender age of 15, Geetha Garu was selected by Swami to be an SSC teacher and to deliver lectures under the EHV, Education in Human Values program, to high school teachers throughout the state of Karnataka, India. She had the rare privilege of serving as Swami's scribe during the formalization of Balvikas curriculum, writing down the nectarine directions and words of Bhagwan himself as he developed the program. In 1978, her marriage to Mohanram Garu was performed in the divine presence of Swami at Whitefield. After immigrating to the US in 1987, at Swami's direction, she and Mohanram Garu, along with their twin sons Varun and Arun, settled in Laurel, Maryland, where they still live, now delighting in the company of 4 grandchildren. Geetha Garu was an award-winning kindergarten teacher for 22 years and has served as SSC coordinator and vice president of Sri Sathya Sai Bethesda Center. Over the past 25 years, at Swami's command and with his blessings, Geetha Garu has been sharing her treasured divine experiences with devotees worldwide. She is a gifted and highly sought-after speaker, able to transport her audience to another place. The speciality of Geetha Auntie's speeches is not only that she shares the beautiful experiences. In fact, it makes us feel as if we are also with the auntie at that moment and enjoying the same divine presence. So, all of you, please tune in to auntie for the next 1 hour 15 minutes and enjoy her talk and be in the bliss. With no late, let's cordially invite Geetha auntie onto the stage with our love.
मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. My loving salutations at the feet of our ever-present and beloved Swami. Sai Ram to all of you, brothers and sisters, for having me here to really celebrate a wonderful occasion when Swami himself declared to us ignorant people who he was. So, over the years, we have all celebrated this program. But it is really wonderful to come here, and before I continue, whenever I go somewhere, I think usually I have conversations with the president or the devotional coordinator of the centers who organize the visit. And I know them from their voice, and sometimes I have not met them. And I come to the center and I think that when I land, the only person that I can recognize is him, and probably not the rest of the crowd. But sometimes Swami also gives me the gift of knowing a few people somewhere when I go. Maybe because I have met them before or I have come to that center before. So I'm really happy today to see a few wonderful faces that I know from many years. I see Sister Vijaya here, whose sister Sheila in our center has been one of the most active members for many, many, many long years and blessed by Swami, and I see her here. Nice to see her sister. I remember her mother, who was a part of our center for many years. We loved her. We all called her Ai. She was a mother to all of us. So nice to see her. Then I see your regional president, Sister Vinny here. Congratulations on your new positions to do Swami's work. It's an opportunity to do Swami's work. I see our national young adult advisor, Geetha here. Then I see a very, very good friend of mine, Sister Indira and Shriram here. It's really so nice to see some familiar faces. And over yesterday's evening, I have come to know some of you. So thank you again to Swami for making me feel very comfortable. And thank you very much to Girish and Sister Lakshmi for making me a part of their home yesterday evening and this morning. So thank you to all of you. The reason I start off with all of these thank yous in the beginning is once I start talking about Swami, my path goes all over the place and I may not remember anything at the end of the talk. So it is better that I do my duty in the beginning. You all had beautiful bhajans, and I do really want to congratulate the little boy there who was playing the harmonium so beautifully. All of you sang beautifully, and all of the youngsters, I'm sure, who took a lot of trouble to learn the Vedas, who came and recited them, and more than all of them, to the gurus and the parents who made it possible for them to offer their own prayers to Swami. So it is really a wonderful thing. This Avatar Declaration Day is something that we have all suddenly sort of felt that we really must remember. But to me, this program has always meant a new beginning, a change. If you look at Swami's, I'm sure you have all done study circles and read Swami's Satyam Shivam Sundaram and all the books and others that he has written. On this momentous day in 1940, he himself, that physical form from being Satyanarayana Raju, he changed to tell everybody that I am not just this ordinary little boy. So, for him, from being a child, a young child, who was a strange child, who was born in very strange circumstances, with a snake there and the music playing and all of these things that we read about. But even then, he was a child to Mother Ishwarama. And that child, you can imagine, all of you, many of you are parents here, imagine this young fellow suddenly saying, I don't belong to you, I belong to my devotees. That whole point of change Swami gave to us on this Declaration Day, as we call it. And we all know that he did it in a very miraculous way. They still tried to bring him back and he continued this. For me, as a child, I was very fortunate, of course, to be born into a family that was already deeply rooted in Swami's devotion. My grandfather went to Swami in 1943, so that by the time I arrived on this planet, they were already devoted. They already knew Swami. Swami was a part of their life, and because of the fact that there were very, very few devotees, they had a very, very close interaction with Swami. So by the time I came into the picture, Mother Ishwarama was still there, and I'm really honored to say that she was my babysitter many a time when Swami used to give discourses during Navaratri and Shivaratri and other, and we children would be very moving around. So there used to be a banyan tree, to just give you the kind of a location. I know all of you or many of you have been to Parthi. on the ladies' side, there is a very big picture like this of Swami on the wall. In recent years, you would see there. Right in that place was a very big banyan tree, actually, before all of when there was the sand. And under that banyan tree, Mother Ishwarama would babysit a few of us, me and my cousins and everybody. So our big moment would always be to ask her about stories about Swami, because we were all kids. And she would always have a bag of peanuts, actually. We cannot celebrate Declaration Day without thinking about her, you know. She was the mother. And here was this child saying that he was very different. And she was a person who had grown up in the village, lived a village life, not much education, but an extremely pious and revered lady. And we would ask her, and we would say, did you get scared when he said that he was God? And she would say, who understood that he was God? I wanted to spank him, she would say, you know. Because I said, why are you talking like this? So in the beginning, for Swami, to make the people understand who he was, even just very different from them, was itself a very difficult thing. But for me, as the years have gone by, many times I meet devotees and we all say, oh my goodness, you know, it just seems like such a long journey, this spiritual journey. We attend bhajans, we attend study circles, we attend retreats, and yet we feel the change within us is so slow. But then I think that every moment is a change. Every declaration day that we celebrate is Swami telling us, you can change. I changed. I changed the whole atmosphere around me. You can change yourself. So having said that, you know, I was sitting there and I was thinking, what can one say about this program? And I was thinking that, you know, Swami, we all say the Ashtotram, we all say the 108 names. And as I was sitting there, looking at this beautiful church that you're all meeting, how lovely it is, this place of worship, you know, where we can all sit in a church and think of God. I was thinking about an incident that happened to me many years ago. You know, when we say our 108 names, we all say Sarvamata Sammataya Namaha, one who is a part of every religion, who respects all of the religions. And here we are sitting in a church to celebrate that fact. And as I was sitting there, I remembered this one beautiful incident that happened to me when I was a kid. I was a third grader, and I studied in an American Protestant school, actually, in Bangalore. And my class teacher was a lady called Mrs. Mary Grant, you know. And she was my class teacher, a very nice person. And she was very interactive with the students. It was a private school. We were about 25 or 26 students. And my father was quite a well-known dental surgeon in Bangalore. And one day in class, you know, here I was, a third grade kid, she said, Geetha, can you ask your dad if he would be willing to see me one of the days after school, because I really have I have a tooth pain, actually, toothache. So you can imagine, you know, as a kid, I'm so excited that my teacher has toothache because I can take it to my dad, you know. And I was suddenly given this importance within the classroom. And I said, oh, sure, Mrs. Grant, I will ask my dad. And I told him, and she could only come after school. So he said, you just bring her with you when you come along so that she knows where my father's practice was. So here was Mrs. Grant one afternoon. I was the proudest kid in school that day, with the teacher accompanying me in the regular public bus, which was the transportation we used to take home. And we came there and we were sitting for a few minutes while my father was seeing another patient. And she was generally a very bubbly teacher, but that day she seemed a little quiet, and I am always the chatterbox. So I was sitting there talking with her and saying, hey, Mrs. Grant, are you okay? Why are you so sad today? You know, you don't worry about it. My dad's going to make your tooth all better. He'll probably pull it out, but you'll feel better. You'll feel better after the whole thing. Spoken like a true dentist's daughter. And I think she really was in a panic mode by the time my father called her into the room, and you know, it was probably a filling or something. My father shooed me out of the room, though I was very curious to know if my teacher had the same number of teeth as I did. My father sent me out of the room and treated her. And then after it was over, my father was a very, very loving person, and he was chatting, and they were generally talking to each other. And I, the chatterbox that I was, said, is she feeling better? Because she was very sad on the bus. Is she feeling better now that you've treated her? I asked my father. So this poor teacher, I remember saying, no, it's not because of my tooth. My father has been a little unwell. So my father said, oh, what is wrong, if I may ask? And she said, in those days in Bangalore, it was not very easy to treat tuberculosis. And he had the TB of the bone. And the prognosis those days in Bangalore in India was not very great. So she said, I'm feeling a little bad about it. I don't know, we don't know. And they were ordinary people, she was a teacher in a primary school. You don't earn much, and I'm an only child, and my father is not very well, and I don't know if we can really treat him. So my father said, oh, I do know a lot of doctors. Would you like me to refer him to somebody? They're all good doctors. And she was very happy. She said, oh, that would be wonderful to see a doctor who may treat my dad. And in this conversation, I pipe up again, saying, oh, you can go to the doctor, but I know a better medicine, Mrs. Grant. So she said, what? And I said, Daddy, just give her some vibhuti, he'll be fine, he won't have to go to any doctor. So this is what I had grown up with. You absorb everything. Every parent will tell you, every word that you utter in front of a child, the child absorbs it. And my father was a little embarrassed because, this was a Christian lady, Mrs. Mary Grant, and here I am talking about Swami. Swami was not so well known in those days, and there used to be a lot of negative press as well sometimes. And I am saying, just give her some vibhuti. My father said, will you just be quiet? I am talking to the lady. Stop interrupting or something like that. And I said, no, but just give her vibhuti. So my father was put into an awkward position of having to go inside. I mean, he had some vibhuti packets, and I'm sure he made some gestures to the teacher that, she won't keep quiet if I don't give it to you, so here it is. And that poor lady was forced to take this vibhuti packet from my dad. And she said, okay, what is this? So then my father had to launch into an explanation about Swami and how he was our spiritual master, and he gave vibhuti, and we have found that, it has helped us in many different difficulties and all that. She just listened to it. She was a pious Christian lady, and she took the packet and patted me, and she said, you're a very sweet girl, you want to take care of my dad, you've thought of a very good solution. So I said, yes, make sure he drinks it 3 times a day. All the instructions that I generally got. So she took it and she left. And some days went by, and suddenly one day in class again, she said, can I have your father's phone number? So I gave her the phone number, and she called my father, and she said, strangely enough, before we could get that appointment with the doctor, my father has been feeling very better, much better. He's feeling well. And, this is such a strange thing, because all that he has been able to take is that vibhuti that your daughter insisted, and somehow just to please her, I gave it to him, because the next morning she asked me, did you give it? So just to please this child, I did give it, and he's feeling a lot better. So they had some conversation, and finally my father said, look, I go to Vrindavan every day. So if you're free on the weekend, if you're interested, I will take you. You're welcome to come and see him. So she said, oh, that would be really wonderful. She was not very sure. She said, oh, maybe I will. She said, is it okay if I bring a friend along? My father said, sure, no problem. So here was my dad. We picked her up in some Richmond Circle or something in Bangalore, for those of you who may be familiar. And she came along with another teacher who was the 4th grade teacher. She was not my teacher. I was in 3rd grade. And this was Miss Mercy Wesley, who got into the car. So we all went, and throughout the drive, here I was saying, oh, you know what happened to me when I was 8 years old? Vibhuti came out of the phone, and that's why I know the Vibhuti is so great and everything. And they must have thought, oh my gosh, will we ever reach Vrindavan? We're both going to have a headache by the time we get there. So we went there. Swami came out for darshan, did his usual round in the old Vrindavan days, when the old bungalow was there, and Swami used to come out in a long row from the back gate to the front gate, and we were just sitting there, and he saw me and just patted my cheek and went on. It was not a big crowd, it was a Saturday evening. And when the darshan was over, he sent word. My father would always be inside with Swami, so he sent word and said, you bring those two, he just called my father and said, you bring those two teachers inside, you know. So here we were, my mother, myself, my two teachers, very, very hesitantly they came inside. And Swami very sweetly, one was a Malayali teacher, Miss Mercy was a Malayali Christian, Miss Grant, I'm not even sure, she just spoke in English. And as soon as Swami came, Swami said, Mary, he addressed her. Mary, how is your father? No TB, he said. So she was a little taken aback because she knew that my father had not really had enough interaction to tell Swami about this whole TB thing. He said, he has no TB, did you get the x-ray? And he said, no Swami, I have to, no sir, I think she addressed him. No sir, I will be seeing him on the doctor on Monday. He said, don't worry, he has no TB. And then he turns to this other teacher, Miss Mercy, and said, Mercy, he said, your name is very nice, your name is Mercy. How is your brother Joseph? So this was a slightly older lady. She looked so totally taken aback. And he said, he's doing well, sir, she said. So he said, yes, he's a pastor in the church in Kerala. She said, yes, sir. She was looking more and more confused because my father had not even met Mercy Wesley before today. So how did this gentleman know all these things? And he said, yes, I know. When your father passed away, your brother and you were young, isn't it? Swami said, yes. And suddenly Swami waved his hand and beautifully materialized a beautiful crucifix. I still remember it was a brass crucifix. It was very small with a lot of designs on it actually. And he gave it to her and he said, this was your father's, isn't it? He was going to give it to his son when he became a pastor, but he passed away before then and none of you could find it. Here it is. Your brother is the pastor in the same church, isn't it? Here is the crucifix which your father wanted to give him if he ever went into the same field as him. And that lady just, started to cry. She looked at it, she turned it over because she was unsure whether it was the same crucifix or something that looked like that crucifix. And behind it, her father's name, Peter, was carved into it, was still there. He gave it to her. And then he said, you don't have to feel sad about your cross which you lost in the church when you were singing in the choir, Swami says to Miss Mary Grant, who was my... And he materializes a beautiful silver cross that she used to wear as a child, which she had lost at Christmas time while singing in the choir of her church. Here it is. And they didn't know, of course, they had to touch his feet or anything. They both just bowed down to Swami and he said, don't worry about your father. Tell your brother that he's doing a very good job in the church, giving his preachings. Continue to love Lord Jesus. Everything will be fine, he said. He said, can I give you vibhuti? He asked them. And they both said yes, and Swami materialized some vibhuti. So as I sat there today, I was thinking, somebody just sang a Sarvadharma bhajan here. We sing the bhajans, we say the 108 names, but we don't realize Declaration Day. I am all those things that you're calling me by. It doesn't matter what name you call me. It doesn't matter who you think I am. It doesn't matter. I am Sai. You call me by any name. So, this Sarvamata Sammataya Namaha, we say Bhakta Vatsalaya Namaha, we say, oh, you are there if the bhaktas, the devotees surrender. And somehow in our mind we think if we come every Sunday to the center and we surrender, he comes to us. Sometimes we wonder, okay, what about all those guys who don't attend the center regularly? But it is not that. It is definitely a wonderful discipline for us to come and at least offer thanks once a week for 1 hour to him. But even those who don't know but call him by many names still get his attention. So this has triggered me off for another incident. I suppose today Swami wanted Sarvamata Sammataya somehow. Maybe because we are here in a church. I became a Balvikas, as it is called in India. Here we call it Sathya Sai Educare. But in India we called it Balvikas, that is the name that Swami gave to bring the children into the spiritual fold. And my mother was one of the first people that Swami asked to start. It was not a formal program yet. It was 69, 70. And one day I remember we were all sitting in Vrindavan chatting. My father had gone inside as usual and we were waiting for my father to come out, to go back to Bangalore, from Vrindavan. And we were 8 or 9 ladies were all sitting and talking. I was just playing under the trees, probably climbing those trees. When suddenly Swami sent my father out and said, ask those ladies to come inside. So there were about 8 or 9 ladies. This was in 1968 or 69, I think. And he said, what are you ladies all just sitting outside and talking about families and your children and husband and what you cooked? Why don't you put your time to good use, And they said, Swami, these were all really actually ladies who were quite well known in their fields. There was Mrs. Natarajan, who was a freedom fighter, actually, elderly lady who had been a part of Gandhiji's freedom walk. There was another lady, Vimla Sheshadri. All these were educationalists and they were all chatting. My mother was a housewife. And Swami said, why don't you gather the few children in your neighborhood and start doing Balvikas? And they all said, Swami, what can we teach young children? Now we have a curriculum, we have programs, we have workshops, we have training programs. But this is way back in 69. These were all ladies who were housewives. So Swami said, why don't you all have children, nieces, grandchildren? You all tell stories. You all teach them some prayer or the other. Do the same thing with the neighborhood children. So that's how the Balvikas program started. And it went on for a couple of years and it was getting more and more formalized. So somewhere in 71, 72, I was, in high school, 8th or 9th grade. And Swami came to our house for dinner. And we were still talking about the World Conference in Mumbai had happened and the curriculum was being set. And Swami told my mother, why don't you take charge of the whole state of Karnataka in India and go to the small towns and set up these Balvikas programs. And this was conservative Bangalore, Karnataka of those days. The women did not come out so much, especially in the smaller towns, to come and teach and do things outside the home. So he said, you first go and meet the Sai Samitis, as we call them there. The Sai centers were there, they were operating. You meet with the men of the centers and impress upon them how important a role their wives and mothers can play. And with that you start. So he made my mother the state coordinator for Balvikas. So my mother said, but Swami, I will have to travel all over Karnataka. Who will run the class that I'm already doing? So by the time, in 2 or 3 years, her class had grown. She had about 30 or 35 children. There was no division of group 1 and group 2 and group 3. It was all one class. So the teacher had to be creative enough to think ways of keeping them all busy at the same time. So you had to be really creative. They still did not have that many training programs and all that. Within Bangalore and the bigger cities like Mumbai, Chennai, they did have. They had just started to. So who will do? So my father, we were all sitting, he had come to our house for dinner with my Swami was sitting in our living room and all of us were sitting at his feet. And he said, Nuche, he said, you do, he told me. So, everybody is looking, who is this Nuvo, who is this you? And I had all my older cousins, everybody was sitting and they were all like, that's you, no, that's you. Nobody. Then Swami appointed me, Neeto matladtunda Nuche, he said, I'm talking to you, you do. I was 14 and a half years old, 15 years. I myself was a student in my mother's class and the students in the class were all my friends. Because it was just the neighborhood kids, there were not that many devotees, 69, 70. So, me, Swami, Nena, Nuvu, I cannot do, Swami, the children are all my friends. Who will listen to me? So he said, our role cheste vadu vintaru. He said, if you do the role of a teacher, they will listen. So that's how I began my guru position and over the years did it for many years in India and then I came here and continued that. So the reason I started with Sarvamata Sammataya Namaha. So when I was teaching for some years, the curriculum became more formal and we started to introduce, which in itself was a difficult thing, the prayers of other religions into the SSE Balvikas class in India. Because most of the children coming were all Hindus. They were all belonging to a small community within your neighborhood. So suddenly trying to teach them prayers belonging to another religion when the parents are not devotees is not a very simple job. So you had to call the parents, explain to them, have an orientation. I'll be doing this in the class. Your children will be suddenly chanting Allahu Akbar in your home. Don't be surprised, All of these, because we have so many hang-ups, it's very difficult to cross those barriers. So I was doing all of this, and so to make this a part of an educative kind of a program, I did a field trip with the parents and the children. And I said for the next 3 or 4 months, we will visit places of worship with the children. Instead of the class, we will go to the church, or we will go to the masjid, or we will go in, and actually Bangalore is very cosmopolitan. We have a lot of Jewish people there as well. So we will go to the Jewish temple, we will go to the Buddhist temple, we have a lot of Jains in Bangalore, so the Jain temple. So we planned out this whole program. And we meaning me, because there were no teachers. I was one teacher teaching 40 children, I had 40 children in my class. So now when sometimes they ask me to speak for our SSE training programs, and they say, oh, we have 23 children and one is 8 and one is 9 and a half. How do we keep them both busy? And I say, okay, you want me to tell you? I had a 5-year-old and a 15-year-old, 5-year-old children and 15 all in the same class. But in any case, so we planned out this program and we started to do our visits. And I would go ahead of time to the Buddhist temple or to the Jewish temple and ask the main preacher there to speak to the children. Tell a story from your religion, which the children can relate to. Teach a small prayer, which is 2 lines, which has a universal meaning. You all did a fantastic job today with all the opening prayers. Teach that and explain it. And I told all the parents, please come along, because I can't take 40 children and they are young. So we took them, went to many places, and one of the visits was one of the masjids near our home. And actually it was easy for me to go there and speak to the mullah there, the preacher there, because he was from our own area and he knew my father and everything. He had come for some treatment or the other with my dad. So I went and approached him. And I said, I'll bring a whole lot of students, there'll be girls, there'll be women, they have their own discipline within the masjid, so please do it in a place where everybody can sit. He said, no problem, I'll tell them a story and all that. He was very happy that we were taking them. So we went there, and he knew of my father and my mother, he belonged to the same area. So he told some story, did something, and then finished the whole time of about 20 minutes or so. And then as we were leaving, he came to me and said, I was a young girl, I was 15, 16 years old. So he said, my child is very sick. His son was about 4 or 5, I think, 6 years old. He's very sick. Can you please tell your father to tell one of the doctors, I want to take my child to the doctor. They charge a lot, he said. He was a mullah in the masjid. They charge a lot, I can't pay that much, you please tell. I said, yes, I'll tell. You bring your child to my father, on the day that you're going, he'll call and tell the doctor. So the man came the next day with this little fellow, 6 or 7 years old, and my father called the doctor. He went, it wasn't anything big, the child got treated and they went home. I think that was the end of the story. Many years later, 2004 or something like that, I went to Bangalore in my visit from the US to my parents' home. And we were chatting when my father had a new driver for his car to drive him every day to Vrindavan. So my father said, you see, I got a new driver. I said, oh, and then that guy came. He was Pasha, some driver. He said, Pasha will take you today to Vrindavan. I will go in the morning itself. You come for, because I had just landed. And then my father said, you know who this Pasha is? I said, I don't know who Pasha is. He said, you remember that masjid you went so many years ago with your Balvikas kids? That mullah, that fellow's son. he is now my driver. I said, oh really? And we just chatted, that's all. He was my father's driver for many years. He was a very devout Muslim. So he would take my father to Vrindavan, and when Swami's darshan was over, my father would be there till the evening. So there was a masjid in Kadugodi village behind Swami's building. So he would go for his namaz there and come back, and took care of my dad and brought him back in the evening. So he took me, and all the way he said, he spoke Kannada, of course, being from Bangalore, and he said, I was sick at that time, I went to the doctor, now I have become, I said, why have you not studied? Why have you become my father's driver? He said, no, I was hopeless in school, so I decided to become a driver, something. So that fellow took me back and forth. In 2006, I went to Puttaparthi. I was sitting in the line, and Swami said, I'm going to Kodaikanal in 2 days' time, you also come there. I said, now Swami, yes, you come to Kodaikanal, he said. And as he walked away, a Muslim Vani Tiskura, he said, you bring that Muslim fellow also, he said, who was the driver, who had brought me to Puttaparthi anyway. Okay, I mean, he's going anyway, he's the driver, he's going to drive my dad's car. So my mother and I, we went to Kodaikanal. That, that is such an experience, that Kodaikanal trip was in 2006. We called every hotel in Kodaikanal. Every trip, every hotel was booked. Because Swami was coming, everybody knew, the whole Tamil Nadu was there in Kodaikanal. I could not get a single place to stay. And we couldn't get any bookings to go by flight to Madurai and then go by car or taxi. So finally we decided we will drive. Swami said, come, we have to go. So my father was not coming. He had some work in Vrindavan. He said, but where are you people going to stay? There's no... I said, Swami said, come, that's his headache, right? We have to leave it to him. If there is no place, I'll sleep in the car. We are all old Puttaparthi guys. We can sleep anywhere, under a tree, on the sand, under the staircase, anywhere if there is a place to sleep. No problem. We were all trained in Swami's old Puttaparthi. I said, we'll sleep somewhere. What is there? My mother, sure enough, her old Puttaparthi training packed up a nice little sleeping bag with some bed sheets and all. If nothing is there, there is a tree. We'll sleep under a tree. So we went. And we arrived in Kodaikanal at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Swami is diverting me now. I arrived at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The gates to Sai Shruti, I think it was closed. There was a long line of devotees all waiting, to go, like our token line. It was absolutely packed, women on one side, men on one side, all waiting to go inside. And my mother and I said, okay, we come. And we don't know a single Sevadal person there or anything, because this is all Tamil Nadu Sevadal people. We know the Puttaparthi Sevadal, we know the Bangalore Sevadal, we don't know the Tamil Nadu. So we said, okay, we'll go in. And we stood in the line and we were standing there. It was very crowded, so we were kind of, my mother was an older person, so I was making sure she wasn't getting jostled. Everybody was craning their neck, and suddenly we see one Sevadal guy running out of the inside of the building. And everybody said, oh, Swami's car is coming, Swami's car is coming. So immediately there is a chaos and everybody moves, and they said, and the gatekeeper said, move back, Swami's car is coming. And they opened the gate and everybody is watching, no Swami's car. Only the Sevadal guy came running. And then he came running and is standing and looking all over the place. And somewhere in that crowd, I am 5 feet, my mother is the same height as me, we are in this crowd somewhere. This young man, he must have been about 30, 27, whatever he was. He came and he was looking and he sees us and he comes running and he just fell flat at our feet. My mother and I were standing there and my mother and I helped him. She said, what is this? Sevadal, you should be helping everybody. You are only landing on the ground like this in such a hurry. We helped him up and he looked at him. He said, Akka, you don't remember me? Amma, don't you remember me? He's saying, and we don't know him from anyone. I said, no, really but he was speaking in Kannada. He said, oh, are you from Bangalore? We're very sorry, we don't know. He said, oh, Akka, you don't remember me, Akka, but you have changed, but Amma, that is my mother, she has not changed. Oh, I said, that's very good. I have become older. She's still looking good. My mom, very nice compliment from this young man there. I said, okay, thank you very much. And he said, Amma, come. I was, you know who I am? I am Srinivasa, Amma. He said, oh, who are you, Srinivasa? He said, Amma, I was your Balvikas student many years ago, when I was a little fellow, you remember, we said so many Srinivasas I have taught for the 27 years or 20 years in Bangalore. My mother said, I don't know, Pa, forgive. He said, Amma, you remember that maid servant who used to clean the house next door? I'm his son, Srinivasa. Immediately it clicked. He said, oh, what are you doing here? And I think I should tell him a story, isn't it, before I go to Pasha. I started, this is what happens to me. That's why I thanked everybody in the beginning itself. I start one thing, Swami takes me on a different detour, he's got his own Google map. So, this particular boy, it's a very good thing, maybe because I started with Bhaktavatsala also. So this little fellow, when I was teaching Balvikas in my mother's house, there was a maid who used to clean our neighbor's house. And she used to bring this fellow while she was cleaning the house. He was very, very naughty. He was only 5.5 or something. So that lady, the neighboring lady said, you cannot, I'm not going to employ you if you keep bringing your child to work. Because he's into everything. He's breaking this, jumping on this and that. No bringing him. So that poor lady had nobody to leave him anywhere. So she used to hear our bhajans and all going on Wednesday afternoons. So she came and asked my mother, Amma, when I'm cleaning their house, can you come and sit in your bhajan? This was our Balvikas. My mother said, okay, he was a 5.5-year-old. He used to come and sit down. First fellow, he was a little fellow. And after Balvikas in those days, we used to give the children some prasadam. My mother used to make something interesting for the children. He would sit there and he would see that there is prasadam. His eyes are on the prasadam. He's waiting. Every now and then when I will pause my breath to stop in the middle, say, Akka, prasada yavaga? He'll say, Akka, when is the prasadam? Auntie, when is it? After the bhajan is over. After. Then in the middle he will say, who is this man? He will ask about the middle of the class. He will say, he is God to us. He says, oh, we don't have this God in our house. We have the God who is holding an arrow. He will say, talking about Rama or something. Very good. So this fellow used to come to class mainly for the prasadam. At the end of the class, he would be very happy, eat the prasadam, but he would sit there. But within a few months, this is the mind of a child. They are like sponges. He had learnt every sloka that I taught, every bhajan I taught, every story, his hand would be up after the first couple of weeks. Very bright fellow. So he started to come, and he used to come, and I used to tell him, in the next 1 or 2 months, Swami, he will come to our house for dinner. And I had the good fortune when I was teaching, whenever Swami came to our house, we used to have all our Balvikas children come. And they used to sit in my father's garage, I used to make the children there. Swami, as soon as he came, he would say, where are the children? I would take him to the garage, he would give them all Pada Namaskaram. My mother would have some prasadam and everything. They would eat and go away because Swami used to come around 6:37 and he would be in our house till 10 o'clock. So the children couldn't stay that long. So the children would be sent away as soon as they had Pada Namaskaram. So I used to tell the children, in next month Swami will come at some time, we don't know, all of you must come. So he will ask, this walking, talking God, Amma, he will ask, Matado Nadiyo Devra Amma, he will say, for those who know, those who can talk and walk, that God, yes, that God who can talk. Because all the Rama and the Krishna in his house is not walking or talking as far as he was concerned. So this God is walking and talking. So he came. He was supposed to come that day. Swami came as usual. He used to come every other month or so to our house. He used to come, told the children, everybody showed up. This fellow also showed up, this Srinivasa. Everybody is sitting, I made them, and we were very, very busy getting ready for Swami's arrival, So I made the children sit in the garage. They all had books, coloring or something. Swami arrived at 6:30. This was the very good lesson I learnt that day from Swami. As soon as Swami came, he spoke to a few people and said, where are the children? In the garage as usual, sitting in the carpet was there. Swami came and talked to a few people and gave them some vibhuti or something, gave padams, and suddenly he looked at me. Where is Srinivasa? Yes, this little fellow. Swami, he was sitting right here. He was sitting right here. He's not there, but where is he? So I asked the children, where is Srinivasa? Where is Srinivasa? He was sitting right here, like 15 minutes or half an hour ago. He said, as children are, I'm sure you all gurus and parents will say, I don't know, auntie. He was sitting with you. Where did that child go? Did you not ask when a 6-year fellow is leaving group 3, group 4? I don't know, auntie. And that fellow should have crossed through the house, right, if he's going somewhere. Nobody has seen. So we all got a little panicky, and Swami came back into the garage, came into my room, which was right as when you entered in from the garage into my room. Come here. He called me. I think I must have been in PUC, 12th grade or 1st PUC. So, come here. What were you doing when the children were sitting there? Swami, I was helping Amma, and all the excitement of Swami. You must have all come and arranged this beautiful altar that you have yesterday. I know Girish and Lakshmi did not come home till midnight after all this work. So I know how much work goes into this. So we were all very busy. The Swami said, when you are a Balvikas Guru, what is your first job? The children. You asked the children to come here. You made them sit here, and then you forgot about them because you are doing something else, decorating this and that. Why didn't you keep track? Where is that boy? I said, I don't know, Swami. It's this little fellow, 6-year-old fellow. And I don't know his house or anything. What has happened to this fellow? His mother has not come. Then Swami said, you don't worry, he's okay. He said, went back into the living room, sat down and started talking. You wait, he said, and went and sat and started to talk to everybody. Here my heart is pounding. Where did this 6-year fellow go? Asked the children, nobody knows. Went outside in the compound, nobody is there. I also came and sat down. Then what else? If nothing is there in your hands, you leave it to Swami. Came and sat down. And in the middle of Swami's conversation, the bell rings, which actually would never happen. Usually our neighbors knew that when Swami comes, nobody would ring the bell and all that. Somebody rang the bell, somebody opened the door. And there was this woman with her child. This is Srinivasa and her mother. Swami just got up from his chair and went to open the door. Swami, we'll open the door. He came to the door, and there and that mother and child just fell at Swami's feet sobbing. Then Swami said, pinched that fellow's cheek, materialized something, a naughty fellow. There you did not tell and you came here. Here you did not tell and you ran away somewhere. Swami told him. We don't know what is this code language Swami is talking. Then he said, you sit down. He told the mother, you have dinner and go. So the mother also sat. She was just sobbing uncontrollably. Then Swami came and sat down and he said, Padmana, to my father, you want to tell? My father said, no, Swami, I don't want to tell. My father was a very quiet man. If you asked him to tell anything, he will finish in 1.5 sentences. See, I'm still telling the story. So Swami said, I will only tell. So he said, when Padmanabh and I were driving now from Vrindavan, we saw that mother. Do you know what she did? He said, no, Swami, what she did? So this afternoon at 3 o'clock, she told this boy, you stay in the house, I'm going to the movies, going to the cinema with my friend. This boy cried. This said, no, walking, talking, God is coming. I have to go. They have very good food after that. I have to go. He's a poor family. He's a maid's child. So this was all excitement in his little life. I have to go. The mother said, no, you cannot go there. Because if that neighboring lady sees you, she'll ask why I didn't come to work. And you will tell her I went to cinema. I will get into trouble. She'll cut my salary. She was probably going to tell her own lie tomorrow morning. So you are not going, she said. She locked this little fellow in their hut and went off to the movie. The 6-year-old, you stay in the house, locked. This fellow, I had given all the children a clock for Ishwarama day or something like that. For some Swami's birthday, I had given a clock to all the children. He had a clock. He had learnt how to read the clock. So he kept looking at the clock. The clock is showing 5 o'clock. This God will come and I am stuck in this house. He broke the window and escaped through the window and came to our house. We don't know any of the story. He came, we said, sit in the garage. He sat there. Then what happened? Swami did not come till almost 6:45. He started to get scared because his mother will come home and find him gone. Plus, I think it started to get dark. He doesn't know will I be able to go home or not. So without telling anybody, he has gone away before Swami came itself. 10-15 minutes. Swami came and said, where is Srinivasa? So what had happened? He has gone back And apparently this is what Swami told us. When he went there, in that rush when he ran out of his hut and broke the window, there was a lantern or something hanging, it fell, and that hut had caught fire. The hut, if this boy had been inside that hut with the locked door, he would have really been so badly hurt. Somehow Swami has made him come out. The hut caught fire. This lady happily, after watching the cinema, is walking home. Swami was driving to our house in my father's car. This lady is walking. Swami told my father, stop the car. He brought the window down. My father thought, what is Swami doing in the middle of the street, bringing the window down? Swami told that lady, you go to your house, your hut has caught fire. This lady got so scared. She has seen Swami's photo, so she recognized him. She thought he was some kind of an astrologer or something. Oh, he is saying my house. So she started, oh, my son is there, my son is there. She doesn't know this boy has escaped, right? My son is there. She ran there. She goes there. She finds the hut caught fire. She keeps telling everybody, my child is there. Nobody can do anything. In the meantime, this fellow from our garage has gone home because it got dark. He said, no, I'm not in the hut. I'm here. Then they realized that the boy had escaped. The hut had caught fire. The mother came and she said, come, let us go. How did you come? He said, no, I didn't see that God, because you will scold me. It got dark, I came. So she brought the 6.5 or whatever he was at that point, brought him to our house and rang the bell. Swami opened the door, smacked that little fellow on his face. He ran from there and without telling anybody. You ran from here without telling anybody. You are causing so much of worry to everybody. I had to be behind you. He told that little fellow and then told them to wait. And then after Swami's small discourse in our house was over, gave vibhuti, that mother and child touched Swami's feet. And he pinched that fellow's cheek and said, study well, be a good boy. Be a good boy and study well. That little 6-year-old heard it. That's it. Now, he is here in Kodaikanal, this fellow, Srinivasa. This is in, 1972. This is 2006. Ladies and gentlemen, you can do the math. Okay. He said, Akka, that is me, Srinivasa. You remember me now, we recollect. And I said, what are you doing? Why did you come running out? No, Akka. After that day, in 1973, when Swami talked to me, after that, only today I heard his voice talking to me. He said, what happened? He said, no, I am working in a bank as a bank manager or something in Coimbatore. When they collected all the Sevadal people to come to Kodaikanal to do Sevadal work, I am in the Sevadal. And I came here to do Seva work because Swami is coming. I thought I can see Swami again. And my good fortune, they gave me the job of taking care of Swami's outside the room, that corridor. They gave me that job. You be here. If at all you see Swami anywhere, you call us quickly that Swami is coming out. So I was there. 2:30 in the afternoon, Swami's door opened. He called me, Srinivasa. He called me. And he said, your guru has come. The room is arranged for her, you tell her to do. Room is arranged. She doesn't know which guru. He has gone through school and college and Swami didn't tell. Your guru has come, you tell her room is arranged. So he came right. He was too nervous to ask Swami, who Swami, where and all that. He said, okay, and came running out. And that's when they thought, because he was running, they thought Swami's car is coming and opened the gates. This fellow came and fell at our feet. Said, please come, Akka. I think Swami is saying there is a room for you. So then other Sevadals had come there. Swami had organized some other in the next building, one room. So we went there, we sat, we talked to the Srinivasa, what are you doing, everything. After so many years, he said, he was crying. He said, after so many years, today Swami called me again and called me by name and told me that your guru has come. And so I said, how Srinivasa, you have come up so well. He said, you remember Akka? He told me, be a good boy and study well. I did both. I'm here now, bank manager in Coimbatore. So he was there. So that this was all in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, Swami's darshan. We went inside the hall, my mother and I, we sat down. By that time people had come to know. We went and sat there. We were sitting, Swami came for that. Malladi brothers were going to give Carnatic concert that day. We were sitting somewhere in the middle of the hall. Lot of the Sai, Tamil Nadu devotees were all there. We were sitting in the middle of the Swami came darshan. He saw me. He said, go to the front. These are all Tamil speaking people. Malladi brothers are singing in Telugu. You will understand Telugu better. Telugu better. He told and made my mother and me to come and sit in the front so we can enjoy. And Swami sat in the chair. And every time some Telugu thing came, he will look at us and enjoy because we could enjoy the Telugu language. And then the music concert got over. He came, they started to distribute some laddus or something. He came, he said, Chusava, ni shishuni. He said, did you see your student? I said, yes, Swami. He said, Ade, Srinivasa. He said, that fellow, Srinivasa. As though, I said, yes, Swami. He said, room ichada? He said, did they give the room? I said, yes, all that Swami said. And how long are you staying? 2 days. I said, well, say 2, because I had to come back to the US. So I enjoyed Swami's blissful darshan in Kodaikanal. Everything is over, the 2 days were over, 3rd day we have to leave after morning darshan. I was sitting in the darshan again, my mother, he asked my mother, when are you leaving? My mother said, after darshan, Swami, we are going. We have to drive back through Madurai. So Swami called me, you're going through Madurai? I said, have you been to the Madurai temple? He asked. I said, well, many years ago, Swami. I said, you go in the Madurai temple, have darshan. You see, this is the Sai mother, no? You are all saying Sai Mata, Pita. Everything he is to us. It is how we connect to him. So he said, when are you going to America? I said, on Friday, Saturday I am leaving, Swami. I said, it was Thursday or something. He said, okay, we go to Madurai, go in the temple, have darshan. When you come out of the main gate, as soon as you come out right side, Madurai Cooperative Society. Madurai Cooperative Society, Angadi store is there. You go, Madurai is known for very nice cotton saree. You buy cotton sarees there. You look at my mother, the Saina. My shopping needs also he is taking care. You buy there and you go. I was so tired, so embarrassed also. Everybody is listening. What is this woman must have come here to do shopping or what? And then he said, don't go here and there. Baga topi vestar meeku. He said, they see you. They see your face, they know you are from America, they will put a nice topi, a hat on, cheat you basically. Baga topi vesi pamputaru. They will put it, you go to Madurai Cooperative Society because government shop, all fixed prices. You buy that. Neeku, ammaku, nee friends ko, andarku konipo. He said, for you, your mother, your friends, you buy all the sarees and you go. I said, okay, Swami, it was so funny. I took Namaskar, he gave me vibhuti. I said, after darshan, then darshan was over, bhajan got over. As the aarti got over, he said, where is that Pasha? He said, where is that Pasha? Pasha is the driver. He's somewhere, the car is parked so far away because of the public parking was far. He's somewhere near the car, Swami, I think. Pilu, Namaskar Mistani. You call him, I will give him Namaskar. My God, this bhajan is going on. Where am I going to find this? It's not the days of cell phone where you can call the driver. 2006. How to find this Pasha? My God, in this crowd. I came out of the ladies' side. I went to that too. They are all on the men's side. All are wearing white color clothes. How do you find out? In this crowd, and this fellow may have gone off for namaz also. If it is that namaz time. I come out and somewhere I was standing on one of the things, looking somewhere that fellow spotted. He thought I was trying to spot him. So he came on the men's side and he waved, Amma, I'm here. Then I told the Seva that people Swami has said to bring him. They all think I'm crazy because while some driver he is somewhere, Swami is telling him, bring him. They said, this fellow, he can stand on the men's side. We can't allow him to go inside. I said, no, please at least make him stand near the gate. Because he doesn't have to come in, but finally we somehow managed to get him standing outside. Swami finished up. He came there. So Swami went outside, and came straight to that fellow. Hey, Pasha, Namaskar Marko. He said, do Namaskar. That fellow was used to, because in our house he's used to namaskaram and all that, he did namaskara. Swami materialized one talisman for him. Isn't this the talisman you lost, which your father, your mullah, had put for you? This talisman, Muslim, they have that squarish talisman. You lost this? Here, take care. Drive Amma safely. He said, go to temple. You take her to temple and gave him vibhuti. You are a very, very sick fellow. You are very sick. And you got better with the vibhuti. And you wear this talisman, which your father had given. Look after your father. He has become very old. Look after. You go to the temple and go. So now I am thinking, go to the temple. How am I going to take him inside Madurai Meenakshi temple? This Muslim fellow with the white cap, looking quite Muslim. We don't know, people won't allow. We have all developed this big heart. We cannot speak of everyone. Then I said, Swami, inside the temple, Parameshwaran pilchuko po. Instead of Pasha, he is Parameshwara. Tisko po. He said, take him Parameshwara. So I came, this Pasha got his talisman back. Mrs. Grant got her cross back. Our Srinivasa got Swami's voice. What a beautiful Lord that we have all found in Declaration Day, isn't it? He has declared who He is, but yet we are to understand Him. What a beautiful Lord that we are all fortunate. Doesn't matter when we came. Yesterday I had a very interesting conversation with Sister Baji here. She was saying, Sister Geetha, I did not see Swami in his physical form. I feel so bad. Why did he call me late to him? But sometimes I feel when you have the form, you relate to the form. You only think that he is the form. You only think it is him in this chair. Or you only think that he is him in that orange robe. We don't realize that he is love incarnate. Wherever you experience love, that is Swami. Wherever you experience beauty, that is Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, he is everywhere. Wherever you aspire, somebody give you a smile, that is Swami. Once I was traveling to Pittsburgh. We were talking about it yesterday evening. And going to Pittsburgh, it's a hilly road. And as we were going, as you go higher and higher, you're kind of above the tree level. The hilly road, and I could see all the trees. It was in the middle of summer, green, and I was looking at it and I was thinking, oh my gosh, these trees look exactly like Swami's bushy hair, so circular and round, and the temperate zone trees are in its own. So I was thinking, smiling to myself, and my kids said, what are you smiling? I said, look at all those trees, don't they remind you of Swami's hair. And my teenage sons rolled their eyes and shook their head at me, and we went on to Pittsburgh. And this was in the summer, June or something. And in about end of July, we went to Puttaparthi. And we were sitting in the interview room, and Swami and some other people also he had called. And they were asking actually, Swami, how do we recognize you, Swami? You say you are in everyone. But how do we recognize you? We only see that person. We see this person's hair, that person's saree, we see that form. How do we recognize you? He said, practice. I remember, so you have to practice. He said, done, Adugu. He said, ask her. I'm like, don't point to me for anything, please, because I'm so far behind. Why are you pointing to me? He said, చూడు పిట్స్బర్గ్ పోతే చెట్టులంతా నా జుట్టు అనుకుంటుంది. While going to Puttaparthi, all the trees she thinks is my hair. Where was I in Pittsburgh? Going on the road for Venkateshwara Darshana, I saw the trees and I said, this looks like Swami's hair. 2 months later in Prashant Nilayam, he says, ask her. When she sees the tree, she thinks all the trees are my juttu, he says, is my hair. They all looked at me in the interview room that this must be some weird lady. And then Swami explains, she sees that circular form, she thinks of it. So you have to practice whatever you see, you connect it to me. See me, he said. Rhyming words. Whatever you say, you connect it to me. Whatever you do, you connect it to me. Whatever you think, you connect it to me. Oh, you Swami, that's not possible, I said. How can we connect all our thoughts and actions and words to Him? It is so difficult. We get so many thoughts which are negative. How can we connect it? He said, no. Then he looked at my sons who were 10 or 11 years old. He said, computer unda? He said, you guys, you have computer at home? So those were the days, the first time we had bought them a computer or something, some gateway computer, desktop. Yes, Swami, we got new computer, they said, both of them. I have twin sons, Arun and Varun. I said, what is that you do on the computer? We do our school project. Not that. What do you do when you want to search? Swami, so they became very proud, we are explaining the internet to Swami. So Swami, you have to type www. Type cheste vastundi. If you type, you read. Yemadi www. What is that www? They were very proud, not 10, 11 years old. You said, World Wide Web, Swami. Wherever you are, if you type www, World Wide Web, you can get information worldwide. Worldwide. The problem kada. So that is the problem. You're all stuck in this worldly web with strands of sticky desire that gets you stuck. Every strand in that web is a sticky desire. Even if a leaf falls on a spider's web, you're talking about a good subject, it's very close to Halloween. Even if a leaf falls on that web, it will stick. That is how desires. That is how this world is full of desires. And as you keep on making strands and strands of desires, strands and strands of attachments, strands and strands of negative qualities, anta oka pedda web. So it becomes a big web. Wherever you go in the world, there is a web. You are in America, there is a web. You are in India, there is a web. World Wide Web. That is the WW. Every time you type, looking for this product, that product. Now, especially with COVID, I think all of us are in that WW all the time, ordering this and ordering that from Amazon and I don't know where. So WWW, as soon as I think World Wide Web, every time. He was explaining, look how beautiful our Lord, World Wide Web. That is the problem. That is why you cannot see me. Because web, it is so stuck. All the leaves have fallen, insects have fallen, everything has fallen. Insects, thoughts. Your mind is like all full of thoughts, all stuck there. That is why you cannot see me, he told them. How to do this for me? How to do this for me? We are all in this world. We are married, we have children, we have family, we have jobs, we have houses, we have cars. Stuck. We are already stuck. Swami gave a beautiful answer, brothers and sisters. He said, www change. Change that www. How to change? Yemadi. Work, worship, wisdom. Work, worship and wisdom. Those are the 3 W's. Do all your work for me. Identify me. Whatever work you do, this is, I'm doing this work for Swami. Don't expect. You do all the work. You keep on doing work. Many times they don't even see me. They are sweeping the compound somewhere else. They're cleaning the bathroom somewhere else. They don't, but they do it for me. Work, whatever. See, yesterday, how beautifully you have all come. Whoever the altar people who are organized all this. Everybody has done it only to give joy to others. When everybody comes here, when they see Swami's photo, when they see this beautiful fall arrangement, when they see this beautiful podium, they should think of Swami. They should think of his robe, or they should think of that nature which is turning colors now. With that intention, few people have worked for a larger group of people. Nobody else has come. Only few people have come. That is the work. They have done with no particular desire for a result, other than to make everybody who comes here say, oh, how beautiful Swami looks, how beautiful. That is work converted to worship. When you work for others without an expectation, that work becomes worship. When you do worship, what is that worship? You do namasmara. When you are doing, you think, oh, this will look better. The orange first thing. The garland over here, if we put it in the middle, we can see Swami's hand. If we put it too high, we can't see the hand. If you put it too low, we can't see the feet. Let us put it in the middle. Some discussion would have happened. So, work becomes worship. Where you are doing namasmarana. So, every work should become a worship. When you start doing worship like that, work becomes worship, then automatically it becomes a namasmarana. You will keep thinking of me in some way or the other. Like the Pittsburgh trees or whatever I have told in other talks also, our Niagara Falls or whatever may be the thing. That namasmarana, as you do, and as it becomes a seva, because you are doing with no expectation, that will become jnana, wisdom. When you get wisdom, what is there to dislike anybody? Because you know that you and I are one. That WWW becomes worship, wisdom. When you have wisdom, you know there is no difference between you or me. Then you don't require this form. Any form is me. Any object is me. Anything is me. That wisdom you must try. Whenever you type WWW, you remember work, worship, wisdom. Swami told my sons. So, this whole attitude of our life as we go along, if we keep connecting it to Him in some way, each of us have our own way. Somebody might like bhajans, and through that they may do. Somebody will like seva, and through that they will do it. I know that Vijaya's family are so seva oriented. I know her mother, at such a late age of her life, I don't know if even Vijaya knows because she lives here, but her mother came to our South Bethesda Center. I used to go to India. She used to stitch suitcases full of baby clothes for me to take. One suitcase in our house we used to call Ai suitcase. That suitcase will be filled with the clothes that she stitched for some unknown children in Bangalore or Puttaparthi, wherever you want to give. She used to stitch clothes, so many clothes I have taken over the years. Why did she do that? Because she could see Sai in some child somewhere 10,000 miles away. For that child, she was sending it through me. So that is how we connect this World Wide Web. If we don't want to get stuck there, we have to see Swami in everybody. So, and what is Swami saying that we have to develop if you want to see me? That mind, that sticky mind. He said you convert the mind. And then in one of the interviews, I asked Swami, it's very difficult, Swami, to develop the kind of unconditional love that you have. We all love. We love our families, we love our friends, we love our center members, we even love our own centers also so much, to the point that we start owning the centers also, mentally. We will own. If I am the president now, and you have put orange in this declaration, I am speaking of myself. I am sure that you are all evolved souls. This time I made orange for Avatar Declaration Day. Next president, if they say, let us do it, white will say, why? It is fall. I did it in orange. Everybody liked it. Why do you want to change from orange to white? We will start possessing that decoration also mentally. We don't want to change. We don't like it. We become attached. So we all have love within us. The point I'm trying to make is the reason we do that is we love that altar so much. So that idea of love is there within us. The idea of compassion is there within us. The idea of kindness and all these qualities, that is why Swami is telling in the Balvikas, it is the blossoming of the qualities which are already within us existing. Only it is covered up with all this dust and dirt and all the stickiness. So that is there. So I asked him once, Swami, this is all very difficult, Swami, and I don't know in which lifetime. I had the good fortune to talk to Swami all about my faults very easily, because he knows me from my birth. Even if I don't talk about my fault, he talks about it anyway. Might as well be open in public kind of a thing. So I said, this is all not possible, Swami, this loving and compassion. He gave a beautiful 9-point code of conduct. I know you all know the 9-point code of conduct which we all have in the center, but I have this little piece of paper. I don't want to make mistakes where Swami is concerned. I just have written in this book somewhere, so I just took it out. But so this 9-point code of conduct Swami gave me that. Emi kashtam ledu. You ask Swami, he will make it so easy. The most difficult thing. Emi kashtam ledu bangaru. It is not difficult. Ayyo, chala kashtam Swami, can't do it. How can you love anybody? And so many people when we meet, I told something again, I talk about myself. I said, Swami, when we see, ఎందుకు నన్ను చూస్తే నీకు ఇంత ప్రేమ ఉంది కదా, when you see me you have so much love for me, why you feel like that? I said, when I see somebody else, I don't think Swami is in them. I'll say, if you are in them, Swami, come out. Why are you in that person? Why are you in this person? Full of negativity. What is there you are sitting in his house for? Come to my house. I've got a nice chair and everything. This is our thought. We don't think everybody is so great to love them and all. I cannot do love everybody and all this, Swami Murike. This is all too difficult. So Swami said, it is how you. He didn't say 9-point code, but he gave 9 points. All equally difficult, but try to think. First one he said, develop gratitude. Gratitude. You see, first gratitude. Maatladutunnavu kada, gratitude. Your tongue is working, your brain is working, all the muscles. So many doctors here, all the muscles are working. Gratitude. A gratitude unte chudu. What happens? Automatically you will get humility. Because where is all this ability coming from? From somewhere within. How did you get it? You don't even have to say God. You can say genetics. It is coming from your parents' genes, grandparents' genes. So you have nothing to do with it actually. So humility will come. From gratitude comes humility. If you have humility, there is no question of ego. You will develop egolessness because it's not even yours. This what I'm standing here and talking is not mine. I came here with something, I'm telling something, not me. He's conducting the whole show. Egolessness, it will come. So, gratitude, humility. The ego lekunta love. If you don't have ego, then automatically you love everybody. Because the problem comes when we have ego. We get angry. Why did you not tell me today that I should wear orange saree? Actually, Baji. All of you people ganged up and wore orange saree. Only me you didn't tell me. And now I am the only one in whatever come. This is ego. So from ego. But if there is no ego, we'll say, Baji, you're looking so beautiful in yellow. I don't have a yellow saree, but you are looking lovely. That ego is not there. It doesn't matter. Thank God, God has given one saree to wear. That is more than enough. So ego. Then from egolessness, then love will come. When we say, Baji, you're looking beautiful, she will immediately say, so nice of you, Sister Geetha, love will come. Why? Because I said a few nice words to her, kind words to her. There is a smile on my face. My body language is portraying affection without any negativity. So she also feels love, I also feel. So there is an interaction of love. Then from that love, he says, next time you've been working till 12 o'clock, you let me know, I can also come and help you with the altar. So, Seva Manobhavam will come from love. Because it will come and help. Everybody after listening to this, especially this talk, they will say, can we all help you to serve the lunch? Because why? We are listening about Swami. And Swami is incarnate, love incarnate. So that feeling makes us want to help others. So Seva will come. This is all what Swami's words, by the way. Whatever he explained in the interview room. So Seva. Then from Seva, when you start doing, you will see, oh my goodness, again gratitude will come. Swami, you have given me so much. I am able to help somebody who is not as fortunate as me. That love, that gratitude come overwhelmingly and you think of Swami. You will think of divinity. You will do Namasmarana. Yo, Bhagavantada, you have given me this much. At least I am able to help one human being. So, that divinity. And then from divinity you go on thinking of me, Namasmarana. From that near and dear, you become near me. You become dear to me because you are thinking of me all the time. Near and dear. Inka near and dear అయిన తర్వాత ఏముంది? నేను నువ్వు ఒక్కటే. You and I are one. So these are the steps. One. So he told me all this. I said, మాట్లాడినప్పుడు పోయి చెప్పు పో. He said, whenever you speak, you tell this. He told. I said, okay, Swami. And so I came back to the room, in the interview room, wrote down gratitude, humility, egolessness, love to seva to namasmarana to near and dear to you and I. But I wrote down all 9 points very nicely. Oh, I can tell, thank goodness, next time somebody asks me to talk, I have a topic to talk. Evening, he called me again for interview. Raskunnava? You wrote it? Yes, sir. Chappu? So I told. Long list, one after the other. Ila chaptava. Are you going to talk like this? Swami, you only told me to talk. Without any example, ఒకటైన తర్వాత 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 అంటే ఎవరు వింటారు? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if you tell like this long list, who will listen? So boring. ఎంత బోరింగ్గా చెప్తావా? In such a boring way you will convey this message of mine. Oh, I don't know what should I say. Example ఈ బంగారు, నేను కూడా చిన్న కథ చెప్తాను. I also tell చిన్న కథ in my discourse. Nobody will listen. After 20 minutes, everybody will do. So you have to tell a story. Which story? Tell me one story, Swami. What shall I start? Yeah, give him all the work. He has told us, you give me the work, I'll do your work. The problem is we want to do the work. So you only tell me something. He said, no, you are lazy. Go and think. You think of something and you tell problem. So that conversation, whatever interview, whatever finished. Some years later, 2006 again, this was a very moment. This was the year when I went to Kodaikanal. I told you, Swami came back from Kodaikanal. I also came to Bangalore. I was in Bangalore. Swami came back. I was sitting there in the darshan line and this the old lady, about 15 minutes. So there was this old lady I saw from the darshan line sitting there, and I said, hey mummy, this is Mrs. Dasharath Ram Reddy kada? This is Mrs. Dasharath Ram Reddy. My mother said, yes, see, Papam, she has become older. So before Swami came out for darshan, I got up and went to talk to this lady, elderly lady, old devotee, Mrs. Dasharath Ram Reddy. I don't even know her first name, I just know her. So who is this lady? This gentleman, Dasharath Ram Reddy garu, older gentleman, when we were all kids in our old Puttaparthi of sands and no lights, this man was an engineer from Hyderabad or somewhere from Andhra Pradesh. He used to come for Navaratri. In those days only 4 functions were happening. Navaratri, Shivaratri, Guru Purnima and Swami's birthday. So he used to come. We all used to go from Bangalore. Nothing was available in Puttaparthi. You cannot even imagine that Puttaparthi. Nothing was there. So early in the morning around 4:30, these wives of these cowherds there, in Puttaparthi, they used to bring milk and yogurt in earthen pots. They will sell. So we have to go outside that gate, Prashanti Nilayam gate where Ganesha is there. There was no Ganesha also. Actually, only the gate was there. Prashanti Nilayam, that was there. You go out there, these ladies used to come and at 4 a.m. sunrise also would not be over. By the time Omkaram started in the mandir, we had to go and buy this milk and yogurt for the day there. And we had to bring, and we used to be one room, 25 ladies from Bangalore. All South Indian ladies, poor Lakshmi will vouch for this. None of them will even think of having darshan without coffee. First coffee should be there, then only Swami. So this coffee has to be there. And so these ladies used to rush there, bring the milk and run for Omkaram Suprabhatam in the month. And you had to do it in absolute silence. There was no sound in Puttaparthi, no talking. Since childhood we were trained to sit absolutely quiet. No question of noise. So they would run and bring. So this gentleman, Dasharath Ram Reddy garu Papam, he used to be from Andhra Pradesh, very nice person. Some people innately they are seva oriented. There will be 10 men, all will not think about this. But there will be 2 men who will say, why are you all ladies running? If you want tomorrow morning, I will bring the milk. Somebody will be, because they are inclined towards that. Someone, other fellow who is inclined for Namasmana will say, Ayo, I cannot go there, I want to go for Omkaram Suprabhatam. So it depends on your inclination. So this gentleman told all these older ladies, you don't run, for that milk and yogurt. You all, in the previous night I'll come and ask you. You all tell us how much of those earthen pots you need. You have to buy 2 pots, 3 pots, whatever. They would tell. So every night I remember my recollection as a kid, the ladies will say, oh, you're Reddy garu vachesnaru, enta paalu kavala, enta paalu kavala, oh, Reddy garu is coming, how much milk, everybody will be discussing there, how much milk do we want. They'll tell 4 pots. So this gentleman will take a big bag, bring the milk and deliver to everybody's house. He is just a devotee like anyone. He was a chief engineer actually. But everybody takes for granted whoever does the work. They will say, why Reddy garu, yesterday night you never came, we never had milk. Because you take for granted that poor man who is doing the work. He is not signed up to do it, but he is just doing out of the kindness. Anyway, he used to bring them. So this gentleman used to come and do that. His wife, this lady that I am talking about, used to make the most beautiful garlands. In Puttaparthi, one other beautiful thing that was available was jasmine flowers. We used to get that ambur malli, what we call that particular type of jasmine. People used to buy baskets of this jasmine. And this lady will sit near that tulasi. Those of you who know Puttaparthi, the entrance for the mandir, there is one tulasi there. That tulasi, she will sit and she will go on making garlands, beautiful garlands, 4 feet garlands. In those days, Swami, as soon as you get up and you have first darshan of Swami, garland. Then Aarti time, garland. Lunch time, garland. Evening, garland. Aarti, garland. Before going to bed, garland. This many times we used to garland Swami. All of us, Swami used to accept garlands in those days. It was done with lot of. She used to make these long, beautiful, and each garland would be different. So it is your birthday. You say, Auntie, tomorrow is my birthday. Can you make garland? One garland. So we'll stand there, garland. So this garlanding Swami business was a big thing, and she would go on. She would sit there for hours. She would make, and we all used to really enjoy it, and we used to take it and garland Swami inside the mandir, outside the. In those days, so many restrictions were not there. Only few of us. So this lady did for many years, and he did lot of seva. She did for many years. Then he retired. Then they lived in Prashanti Nilayam. And after some years, gentleman also passed away. But that lady lived in Prashanti Nilayam but became old. And somewhere in the 80s, Swami stopped this garlanding thing. No more garlands. So she used to make the garland for the mandir photographs inside. That's all. So many years, I cannot tell you, ladies and gentlemen, how many garlands she may have made for this Lord, I tell you. So then we all used to say, Auntie, and she would say, Ledamma, no, I can't make garlands. I only make for mandir. You all go and have darshan. Just imagine him in those garlands, with so much love. So the days went by. She used to sit in Puttaparthi, what we call Buddhi line. All that old ladies sit there in Puttaparthi, where that big lion is there now. All the old ladies sit. She used to sit there. Of course, lot of new devotees came, children came, foreigners came, countries came, flags came. Who remembers Mrs. Dasharatha Ram Reddy's seva of 30 years or 20 years? Making garland. So the physical distance increased for her. Swami stopped talking to her. Whose garland? Enta baga chestundi kada, how beautifully she makes. She would hear. She never used to garland. She used to only make for others. So many years went by. Then years went by. In 2006, I was in Vrindavan. I saw her sitting. I said, Mummy, Dasharatha Ram Reddy gar wife kada, we'll go. I went, I touched her feet. I said, Auntie, how are you? She recognized me and said, oh, you have come from America? Yes, Auntie, how are you? She said, oh, Nanama, I'm there. So then she caught my hand and my mother's hand. And she said, Swami has given me room behind Vrindavan in the room. After darshan is over, can you come for 5 minutes to my room? I said, sure, Auntie, we'll come. I want to share something with you very much. Will you come? I said, okay, we'll come, Auntie. We went after darshan, we went. She could not contain her excitement. Tears are flowing. What happened, Auntie? What? Shall I tell you what happened to me? Nobody knows me here, You people know me. If I share, you will understand. I said, yes, Auntie, what happened? So, I was minding my own business and staying in there in Prashanti Nilayam. Suddenly, last month, some morning, 10 o'clock, somebody knocked on my door. When I opened the door, 2 boys are standing in front of the door. And I said, who are you boys? This is an elderly lady. Some 2 young college boys like this Girish and all standing in front of her. She doesn't know anybody. Why are you? So they said, Amma, please come with us to Bangalore, to Vrindavan. Swami has asked you to bring. This lady said, Swami has asked me to make a big check in the you people are crazy or something. Not me, I am not coming anywhere. Who do you want? No, Amma, Swami gave this room number. He told us to bring the lady in that room. This lady would not budge. I have no permission to leave Prashanti Nilayam from Swami. He has not talked to me for 21 years. Why suddenly he will send me and all? He must be somebody in the round building in Shanti Bhavan, important people. You young people didn't hear properly. Go and find out you have got the wrong fellow. These poor boys, she didn't go. They went back to Vrindavan, these boys driving. And Swami asked them, I believe, did you bring her? Ashrat Ram Reddy gar wife? Rale the Swami. She did not come. Swami, why? You went to the right room? Yes, Swami, we went. Did you ask her she is Dasharath Ram Reddy's wife? No, Swami. Then you just went to somebody's room, knocked on the door and said, come with me to Vrindavan. Who will come? Go back. These poor boys, again from Vrindavan, they arrived in the night in Puttaparthi, knocked on her door, I believe. She, Ayo, Yemra, Godava, Midi, you have come again, you people are giving me trouble, you have come again, why have you come again? This lady shouted, no, Amma, Swami is asking to bring you to Vrindavan. I told you, go and ask in round building, some important person must be there. Then they said, are you Mrs. Dasharatha Rama Reddy Garu? She said, I am, but I am not the only Dasharatha Rama Reddy Kada. So many people may be there like that. Ledamma, please, we will fall at your feet. Swami will throw us out of the college if we don't take you. You please come with us. They begged and cried, and finally this poor lady felt bad for them. And so she's telling us, so chakni veg, urgent ga, 2 saris I put in one bag. And Sai Rama, antune vachinanu, because I kept on saying Sai Rama and I came. If I come here, the boys are saying if I don't bring you, he will throw me out of the college. If Swami sees me, he will throw me out of Prashanti Nilayam, because I don't have permission, but anyway I came. And I came, it was night time, I slept. Next day morning, I am sitting here, Swami came there. Abba boy, how many times to tell you, send word twice, you made my boys go back and forth. You have come now finally after scolding you so. This lady says, Swami is nicely scolding me. He is scolding me, don't you have any brain? I sent those boys twice, Bangalore to Puttaparthi. I said, oh, so sorry, auntie, Papa. She said, sorry, Vattu, I didn't hear anything. 21 years later, I'm hearing his voice talking to me. Who cares what he is saying? He is talking to me. I was in that anandam of that bliss of his talking. I was scolding, I was listening. I don't know what he said. Then I said, Swami, finally, I stopped crying. He said, I got you here. I am going to Kodaikanal. You come with me to Kodaikanal. Neena, Swami, should I come? She asked Debbie. Yes, you only. Okay, Swami. Then he said, tomorrow we are going. Did you go in the plane any time? No, Swami, I never went in the plane. Tomorrow we have to go in the plane. You brought 2 saris with you. Nobody will let you climb the aeroplane in that old sari you brought. You go with Mrs. Ratan Lal and do shopping in Bangalore. Same, Swami. So he sent her. Not only bought all these jerry saris, expensive saris, bought one suitcase also. Everything she came. Next day, I believe, Swami made her sit behind him. They went to Kodaikanal, she had darshan. I didn't see her there for whatever reason. He went and brought me back, Amma. I have been in 7th heaven here. Vaikuntam ante edo telsipoyindi. What is Vaikunta? I know now. I went with him in the plane. I went here, I went. She described everything. I said, so happy for you, auntie. After 21 years, Amma, I never heard his voice. Of course, discourses and all that. Afternoon, Swami called me for interview. As soon as this was ringing in my brain, as soon as I sat down, I said, said, Swami, I met Dashrath Ram Reddy Garu's wife. She told me you took her to... she was very, very happy, Swami. She was so excited. I said, she was so excited. Plane lo vachindi kada excitement. Because she never went in the plane, she was excited. We believe this, Swami, because she came with you, Swami, she was excited. She told us the whole story. I said, yes. She didn't come with the boys. I had to send all Swami's own problems. He said, look at these devotees. I send word also, they don't come. And she didn't come. Finally, she came. Then I asked him the key question which you are all waiting for 2 minutes. So I said, Swami, why make her wait for 21 years, Swami? 21 years. 21 years Nirantara Namasmaran chesinది కదా. 21 years she did Nirantara Namasmarana. She could not make the garlands anymore. I stopped. No? Every garland she saw, she would think, every garland she made for the photo, how nice Swami would look if we put this at lunchtime. She had different colors for different times of the day. She would think of me constantly. When I was talking to her, she was focused on the colors of the garland. When I was not talking to her, she was focused on me. How will this garland look on Swami? That is the thing. So she did Namasmarana. That is one reason. But the main reason, Teresa, what? I told the boys who she was. They didn't know. She was sitting somewhere. How she made garlands for 20 years for everybody. Not even once she garlanded me. But she used to make for everyone she used to make. Danike, na gratitude joichadu. Should I not show my gratitude to her for her seva? Should the boys not know that I have gratitude for her seva? For that reason, I did. Humility. See that humility 9 points he had given me 2 years before. I said, Swami, tell me a story. Go and do homework. You are lazy, he told me. Now 2 years later, he is telling me, Aro chappan kada? Humility, chappu. Even the Lord has humility in front of a devotee. A devotee who does selfless seva for others without thinking of herself. A devotee who does Nirantara Namasmarana, everything is for my Swami. Mind becomes pure and pure and pure. And then that connection happens. That is the first point we have to tell the gratitude. So today I should end my talk. It's 12:30 and say that I do want to express my gratitude to all of you who have made it possible for me to come here, for having given me the opportunity to think of this beautiful, loving, compassionate Lord, to also think of His great devotees. Swami says, if you think of the devotees itself, that itself is thinking of me. Great devotees, like I just mentioned a little while ago about I and others, for having given me that opportunity. And in this way, remember that change is possible maybe for us too. Saya.
Shri Saram. Girish asked me to summarize the talk, which would be impossible. I think we were all transported into a world that is full of Swami and the miracles that were shared with Sister Geetha. Since yesterday, when we received a call, we've been blessed with so many thoughts and experiences where Swami guides every aspect of every talk that she does. Swami critiques them, Swami listens to them, and so since yesterday we've all been on our best behaviors, anxious, because everything has to be perfect because Swami is sitting right here, and I'm also anxious for not saying the right things in front of Swami, thanking her. So wholeheartedly, we thank you so much for this morning's discussion. We plan only till 12 o'clock, and we know that when Geetha Aunty sets a time, she stops in the middle of the sentence at the right second. But we extended it for preparing lunch, and we gratefully thank you so much for extending your talk to accommodate that. So again, this afternoon we'll have another session, so we would welcome all to stay, from some of our guests to stay for the rest of the talk as well. So may I ask Sister Mini Raman to say a couple of words.
Thank you for including me. It is such a beautiful sight to see everyone here from all three centers. Girish and team, thank you so much for organizing this beautiful event, wonderful decoration of Swami's altar, all to bring Swami into our hearts here today, right? All to bring in Swami into our daily life, every minute of our lives. And what a beautiful way then to invite Sister Geetha today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, the way you so eloquently describe each of the interactions you've had, the memories with Swami, you can just imagine that you're there, right? Like Sister Baji said, that you can live that moment that you have with Swami. And for somebody like me also, who has seen Swami only once from a very long distance, but to think and what you gave so practically, that you can imagine and see Swami in everything. The trees in Pittsburgh, Niagara, haven't heard that waterfall story, but I'm quite eager. But to see Swami in everything and everyone, I think that's the message that you brought today, that live Swami, live and just feel him everywhere around you. And if you just follow that example, I think if we take Swami with us everywhere we go, dedicate everything, work, worship, wisdom, and all those practicality, right? The divine stories that you brought, but then how it's applicable to even the young ones, right? And from teenage, everybody can use it in their lives every day. That's the beauty of how well you help us connect to Swami every day. And I mean, yeah, I'm trying to fight my tears, but thank you so much for all that. And what a beautiful way to bring this together. Again, Swami always talks about unity, right? And here we are united in our love for Swami, right? Feeling it together. And like Indra said, that we have never heard these stories before. So everything, I mean, we want to, of course, my stomach is making noises, but my heart is wanting more and more. So we are hoping that we can subdue the stomach and open the heart out to say that, hey, we want to listen to more of his stories, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to do that this afternoon as well. So thank you so much. Greensboro team, again, thank you so much for having Sister Geetha here and organizing this event. It's our pleasure, and Swami has welcomed us, and Swami has made it able, of course, for all of us to gather here. So thank you. Sai Ram.
Pachamyanam